where you are, where you are tuning in from. Say hi in the chat box. I feel like I should be singing something like ding dong, the witch is dead. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Rub your eyes, you sleepy head. Ding dong, wicked witch is dead. YouTube is working. Good, good, good. Hello. Good, glad. Thank you, Robert. Stood out in the cold, the end of an old year. A sprinkling of snow, a noisemaker blow. Your face reflected gold and red. You lit your cigarette, and for a second you were late. And I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. Never saw spring. We never saw spring. You never stopped drinking. I searched in the dark, stayed looking too long. I saw your spark and thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You were right. All our uncharted waters clear, all of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. So if you're watching, go ahead and say hi in the chat box. Let me know where you are watching from tonight, how you're feeling. What a week. I say that every week, but what a year, right? Oh my gosh. Well, all you can do sometimes is just sing, right? So let me know how you're doing, what you're drinking. I got a cup of hot tea with a lot of lemon in it. Pretty much my standard. I saw your spark and thought of stars that shine 10 billion years. 'Cause for a second you were light, and I could navigate your sky, steer through 1,000 storied miles, sail through miracles and trials. You were light. All our uncharted waters clear, all of our faults and fractured nights were beautified. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You were light. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I haven't played that song in a little while, but it's that time of the month, and by that I mean that about once a month I decide, you know what, tonight is a good night to just play my new album top to bottom. Actually, sometimes I play it middle to one end or the other and all scrambled up, but tonight I thought I would play it top to bottom, and I was really, you know, it's funny when you make an album, it takes so long to make that by the time it's released, it's sort of like you're very, very excited, but also, you know, some of the stuff that you were working on is not super new anymore. And after the album came out, it came out with this companion book of lyrics and stories and original art. Some of my original art. This is alcohol ink that I it was originally alcohol ink on paper, and then brought it in to Photoshop and was playing around with it. Some others. And then also in the back of the book, some of my published essays, stories, personal essays. So I was looking at this book and I thought, you know, I want to play the album top to bottom today. That was You Were Light. And I also want to kind of look at the book a little bit, maybe share some of it with you. I realized that the first run is almost sold out, the first printing of it. And so I don't know, maybe it'll be sold out through the holidays. We'll see. I want to say hi in the chat. Laura Perry, you're watching from your dining room, and of course you're drinking rosé. Laura, when I saw you earlier, I have been eating your scones all day, by the way. We still have one left for tomorrow. And I think it's one of your lemons in my tea, actually, as well. That's all. Tonight's show is brought to you by Laura Perry. But Laura, I forgot to ask you what kind of wine you had just picked up and where you had gotten it. So I'm glad to know that you have poured yourself a glass. It sounds delightful. Robert, thank you so much. Who else is here? Say hi in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Jacob, hello. Nice to see you. And these last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I've also been broadcasting to Twitch. So if you happen to be watching on Twitch, I know I'm just dipping my foot, not even my foot, like my pinky toe into Twitch, kind of feeling my way out, seeing how comfortable I am. But I do have designs on being on that platform a little more in the new year. I'm not doing a giant leap in 2020. I have done a lot of giant leaps in 2020, and we all have. I want to show you one of my favorite paintings that is in the book. I love this one. I feel like I can just, the colors, it's so vibrant and there's so much movement. I feel like it to me, it reminds me of blowing bubbles. I think it reminds me of blowing bubbles. When was the last time you blew bubbles? You know, with the wand and the little dish. Well, you can look at my book and I feel like you're blowing bubbles. So hi, everybody. Make sure you say hi. And I'm going to read you a little bit about what I wrote about that song, You Were Light. So that's the first song off of 1,000 Tiny Torches, and all the lyrics are in here. And I wrote of that song that it reminds me of, this song reminds me of the greeting Namaste, which is used casually in India as hello and goodbye, but is also recognized to mean the light in me honors the light in you. And the inspiration for the song was, I was thinking about New Year's Eve and remembering an old romance that had ended badly and lingered negatively in my heart for years. Let me know. I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? Anybody else have a romance that ever ended badly and lingered negatively in your heart for years? But this particular time, I won't read the story for you here, but this particular it was a Monday around noon that I wrote this song, and I don't know what it was, but I was thinking about not the darkness of the relationship, but the light that had originally brought us to each other. And I thought, every relationship, whether it's ended badly or, whether we adore the person, it has the light side and the shadow side. And it's ultimately up to us as individuals if we are going to linger in the light or in the shadow. So that particular relationship, I had lingered in the shadow of it, the darkness of it, for a really long time, and by spending a little bit of time, and actually in writing that song, I found myself in more neutral territory, right? No longer in the darkness, able to see both sides of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So since I'm going to play the album top to bottom, this is one song that I did play last week, and I think I played it the week before as well. So I hope you're not sick of it. But, you know, election season just sort of brought this song out. Plus it was the first single off of the album. We shot the video, the music video for the album, the official music video. Do I have a lyric video for this one yet? I don't think so, not yet. We shot the official music video for this in the same location as where we shot the photographs for the album, the cover art. And the video itself was shot in the morning. The photographs of the album, which this is more or less the album artwork, they were done in not at night, they were done in the evening, where there was still some really beautiful sun, although things were cast in shadow, and then with a little bit of wizardry. My amazing photographer, Annabelle Deflux, she is a music photographer here in Los Angeles. She did an amazing job. She's done all my photographs so far, and she somehow did her magic and made it a beautiful nighttime shoot. Oh, hi, Debbie. Hello. Oh, wow. We are on the road, on the LIE. Let's go on a road trip, baby. That's fun. Oh, you're sick of election season? Well, they called Georgia, they called Arizona. By the way, thank you, Arizona. You had a part in that. Oh, so this is what really matters, and let me see if there's something in the book, in the official companion book that I could tell you. Oh yeah, so this is what I wrote for this song, and this is the one that has one of my other favorite paintings in it. I think I just dropped my pick. Let's see here. So, as a child, I lived for a while in a house built on a New Jersey mountainside. True story. It was a 3 or 4 story drop from my bedroom windows to the forested ground. True story. And sometimes, also a true story, I would lay awake and wonder what would happen if the house caught on fire. And so this is actually, it must have been a school, maybe it was a PSA for afternoon programming on television, or maybe it was something that we had to do in school, but someone posed the question, you know, how would you get out of your house if it caught on fire? And my bedroom was so high up in this house, and it was built on the side of the mountain. It was a long drop down, and I never solved this problem. Like, how would I get out of the house? It depended on, you know, where would the fire be and what would I bring? So instead of answering the question, how would I get out, which was not an answer I could easily answer, not a question I could easily answer, instead I started to dwell on what would I bring with me? And so here in California, where we have the wildfire season, a couple years ago, you know, every wildfire season, of course, I think that I'm not the only one. I think that most everybody out here in wildfire country kind of has an inventory in their head, like, okay, if I had to evacuate, what would I grab? You know, would I be able to grab all of my journals? I definitely would have to bring my laptop, right? The cat, you know, those kinds of things. You know, and I'm laughing, but it's a really serious question that I think everybody out here has in their mind. So that's where this song, What Really Matters, came from. was on fire, right in the wind on the tinder of leaves. Flames flying in like an enemy fighter. Sunrise in red, tell me what would you grieve? When you're burned down to the bedrock, when you're scraped down to the coals, when everything you thought you knew is changing, and you feel the devil fighting for your soul. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should have long forgot. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. What really matters. Smoke screens and daydreams don't help when you're running. Blooms lift to heaven the rest of your home. Falling like snow, you're an angel in ashes. Chimneys and tree bones and churchyard stones. When it comes down to the bedrock, and everything that you've known is shattered glass in the doorways, then you're wrestling with an angel for control. Flask of whiskey, stash of hot letters from a lover that you should have long forgot. When your tidal waves of tears turn to laughter, that's when you know it comes down, 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 down to what really matters. What really matters. What really matters. What really matters. So that's what really matters. And what really matters to me is that we've been doing this for 32 weeks, and this is a year of social distance, and I've started to think of 2020 as a year of, among all of the other things and all of the sadness and devastation and tragedy that is also happening, I think that this year is also a year of great creativity, great use of imagination. One of the I guess paradoxes is that as creative artists and all the different types of creativity out there in the world, we think that we want all of the colors, all of the brushes, all of the canvases, and really it's constraints that help to foster a lot of creativity. So I was thinking today about, I was watching one of the major music organizations that I love, Folk Alliance, which is an international organization, also has regional Folk Alliance chapters. There's one for the west side of North America, there's one for the south, one for the northeast, etc. And they have all had to pivot. They all had conferences, they all had really robust communities. And what would happen at the conference is that a whole bunch of people like me with acoustic guitars and banjos and fiddles and things like that, we would pack into a hotel and basically not leave the hotel for a number of days. And all of the hotel room, some of the hotel rooms were used for sleeping, but a number of floors in whatever hotel it is would be dedicated just to live performance. And, hotel room after room after room on a whole floor, the beds would be moved aside, the dressers, and they became music venues, each one individually. And we would pack together and just stay up to the wee hours listening to music, and it was so awesome. And in this year and into next year, none of that can happen. And so these organizations, I'm just really impressed with how they are pivoting, how they're offering various programming online and trying to connect songwriters and people with the industry, and just helping us all stay connected, stay inspired, keep learning. And, even though indie venues have shut down, hopefully not permanently, although some for sure, these organizations have really been pivoting. And that's the sort of thing, like, when things start to open up again, I'm absolutely 100% sure that they are not going to stop this kind of programming when things open up again. They're going to do both. It's going to be both and. Whereas before it was just that, and this year it's just this. And that's what I think about this year, 2020. I don't know. Anybody there with me? Are you just feeling the hardship of the year? Because that's for sure. I get that as well. But there's also this creative thinking that's happening. How can we play our songs together? At a time like this. It was sort of the inspiration for my Thursday show, Tomes and Tunes, which is, in its 28th week yesterday. And, it's been a really marvelous, inspiring thing to do for me, to interview other songwriters about books and music. So, I don't know. What do you think? I would love to hear. Robert, thank you so much. Yay, Debbie. Mark. Aha, a little Spanish guitar action. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was a little sloppy version. That's why you have the record, so you can hear the really polished version. You pay good money for the polished version and, the sloppy version on a Friday night. Right here. So who else is here? Oh. So let's see here. So that was what really matters. Oh, Mark, you're here. I always remember when you're here that we got a trivia game that I always promise. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we'll do this one. I don't think we did. Okay, so your first trivia question of the night, care of Trivial Pursuit from Benefactors in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you very much. At the very beginning of COVID, when I started doing this show, I think it was in week 2 or 3 that you guys sent me this Trivial Pursuit game, and it's been really fun. So here we go. First question of the night. Which of these East Coast, I'm going to have to start wearing my glasses, though, for these. The print gets smaller every week. How does that happen? Okay. Which of these East Coast U.S. cities did Pope Francis visit on his 5-day inaugural tour in September of 2015? Which of these East Coast U.S. cities did Pope Francis visit on his 5-day inaugural tour in September of 2015? Philadelphia, Boston, or Miami? Philadelphia, Boston, or Miami? Any Catholics out there or folks that just keep an eye on Pope Francis's whereabouts? Chime in. Mark, you are fast. You are so right. Of course, you had a 1 in 3 chance of getting that. Did you know it, or are you a really great test taker and you're like, well, I'm just gonna take a stab at it? Good for you. It was Philadelphia is the answer, and the card tells me, I have not verified, I'm going to just trust Trivial Pursuit. It tells me that he also visited D.C. and New York City. Mark, you knew it. No, not Boston, Robert, just Philadelphia. Mark, so good. Have you been to Philadelphia? I used to live not far from it. I lived in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Trivia, that's a little bit of trivia from my world. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. which is known for, what is Lancaster, Pennsylvania known for? I'll put that as my own trivia question. And I accept any correct answers about Lancaster, Pennsylvania. By the way, we have a town not far from here that is pronounced Lancaster. And when you are accustomed to saying Lancaster, it's very hard to switch. I love the colloquial everything. I love, like, you know, the way towns are pronounced differently, spelled the same but pronounced differently. I like the, you know, just little slight accent differences that you can hear, that I can hear when I love upstate New York. Laura, you were from Buffalo, or not from Buffalo, but lived in Buffalo. You know that accent very well. Yes, Shoofly Pie is one of them. In fact, I had a cat named Shoofly, named after the Lancaster or Philadelphia region pie. Little trivia about Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Well, maybe I should. Wait, nobody has said the Amish. It's very well known for the Amish. I'll just give you that, and I'll tell you that on not Good Friday, on Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. The kids that grow up in Lancaster, they know it as Frostnut Day, which is the Amish donuts. And I lived just down the street. I lived right in Lancaster City, just down the street from Central Market, which is where I did a lot of my shopping. It was just all in one big open space. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, all in there. Farmer's cheese and vegetables, corn, chocolate, a lot of homemade goodies, and frostnuts, yummy. So a little trivia about Lancaster. Nebraska says Norfolk rather than Norfolk. Norfolk. Thanks, Mark. Love that little tidbit. Now I will know when I go visit Nebraska, which I hope to do sometime. You can give me some pointers when I get there. You know what I'm always surprised about Nebraska is how far south it is. I always think it's like up there next to, or maybe I am right? It's below the. Now I'm like, oh no, I'm double, triple. Now I'm feeling pretty silly. But Nebraska, it's further south. It's not up at the Canadian border. Like washing machine. Yes, I hear you. I hear you, Mark. So this song, Headlights. I gotta say, I didn't write it about my old town in New Jersey, but as I was writing it, I was thinking, if I have any old high school friends watching, say hi please in the chat box. There was a little gazebo in a park, and some friends and I would sometimes hang out in that gazebo, and I didn't play guitar at the time, but a friend of ours did play guitar, and he would bring his guitar, and we were all band kids and chorus kids and theater kids, so we knew how to have a good time. It was good, clean fun. I don't know what we would do, but we would just sing and dance and probably have impromptu drama scenes. Drove home past the old town park, 5 miles slow on twisting roads. And every time I hit a bend, it looked like the road would the wheel and I took my time. Felt like the night would last forever. I waited 18 years to leave, but now I wish the time would freeze. I thought, I don't know how this growing up goes, so I followed the headlights. I followed the headlights, and the dots of the broken line all the way home. Came back with a broken heart. I made it home for the school reunion. I took a smoke in the back lot, thinking of everything I'm not. Blowing smoke rings to the stars. These years, they got so fast now. Wish we could live life in reverse, get a chance to rehearse. But all you know is where you've been. So you follow the headlights. Follow the headlights, and the dots of a broken line all the way home. Life's not flat. Living doesn't unfold like a roadmap. So you follow the headlights. Follow the headlights, and the dots of the broken line all the way home. Follow the headlights. Follow the headlights, and the dots of the broken line all the way home. That song is about faith. It's about having faith, just trusting, but it's also about having patience. And that's another thing that this year is asking of us, right? I mean, longest election season. Well, not the longest, but pretty long anyway. Everything else about this year, asking a lot of patience. Honestly, like I said, the tragedy and devastation aside, I actually feel like some of these lessons are lessons, the one about patience and, creative constraints, and all kinds of things. I feel like these are lessons that for myself I really needed to learn, or at least learn on a deeper level. And I feel on some level, I mean, you can't. It's kind of weird to say, but grateful for the hard times. We don't get out of this life without hard times. So I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm kind of maybe deeply uncomfortable with them, but grateful for the lessons that they're making me learn. Thank you for the claps. Oh, makes me feel good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me give you another trivia question. Whose third studio album, 25, they are giving you just too much information with this question. Whose third studio album, 25, with the hit single Hello, sold a record 3.38 million copies in the first week? They've just given you so much information. And the question is who? So, third studio album, 25, hit single Hello, sold a record 3.38 million copies in the first week in 2015. Who did that? Lemonade out of lemons. I'm making hot tea with lemon out of lemons. Let's see here. So what's happening in the book on the page that Headlights is on? Oh, so when I created this book, it was this past spring, and I learned I wanted to do it all myself. You know, creative constraints. I wanted to push what I knew, and so I had to relearn Photoshop for my album and used it for this book as well, and also learned InDesign. And so I was doing all of that in the early months of the pandemic when life was, pretty quiet. And I had a group of musicians that I was talking with every morning, Monday through Friday. We had a mastermind group that was meeting for the first few months of the pandemic that was just a lifesaver, even on those days when I just wanted to stay in bed, totally depressed. I woke up and got to my desk so that I could meet with this group of people. It was awesome, and a lifesaver, really. And so I was doing all that and learning these programs and designing this book and the album and getting ready for the release, which happened in June. And so when I wrote about Headlights, here with that artwork and the lyrics, I wrote this as well, which I had forgotten. This song had initially emerged out of a melding of what the novelist E.L. Doctorow said of writing a book. To paraphrase, that it's like following the headlights at night in the fog. And my thoughts of those times in life when we can't see too far into the future. I had not, of course, ever considered that this song would be released during a global health and economic crisis. In a swift shift of life as we knew it, the pandemic that emerged in 2020 caused nearly everyone on the planet to abruptly and drastically alter their sense of what the future might hold. For some, that uncertainty felt untenable. For others, it was a blessing. For me, releasing Headlights into the world at precisely that moment, I found solace in my own lyrics and realized that this song in the end is about faith. Headlights was the second single from this album. And so that was released, and we shot the video, the official music video. Me and Kevin Rhodes, who lives 2 houses down from me, we shot the music video completely, entirely within the COVID health guidelines of Los Angeles. It was about 2 weeks, I think, into the quarantine that we shot that. Adele is the answer to the question. Good, good, good. You got it. And then the next song. This next song is a tender one. And I'll read you what I wrote about this one. So this next song is Only Forever. I wrote this song after having lunch with a friend who told me about how her son had died when he was young. The next day, I wandered through a stunning museum exhibit titled Things I Know But Cannot Explain, of work by the American Indian artist Rick Bartow. By the way, Robert, do you know that artist, Rick Bartow? Absolutely wonderful. Loved his work. And finally, as is often the case, I was thinking about the poet Mary Oliver and her poem In Blackwater Woods. All of that made its way into this song, which I dedicate to Rosalie Dearheart and anyone who has lost a child in any of the heart-wrenching ways that can happen. So, this is Only Forever. Let me just, I think my tuning is okay. Just checked it before the other song, but... Oh, Robert, because I know that you are an art fan, you should check out Rick Bartow. I waited for you. I waited for you. A long time, stood outside the schoolyard. The swings twisting in the wind. I prayed for you. I prayed for you. A long time to chase you in the park. Try to catch you in a sprint. things I know but cannot explain. How life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender, and how I'll love you only forever. You came to me, you grew up tall and gangly. I taught you how to swim, taught you everything I know. But maybe God was lonely, or fate knew all along I'd protect you with my life. But Lord knows I'm not that strong. And things I know but cannot explain. Life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender, and how I love you only forever. They say wounds yield a purpose, and cracks bring the light. All I know is stone on the earth, angel in the sky. Things I know but cannot explain. How life is measured by what you lose and what you gain, and how to fight for what you treasure. Let it go when it's time to surrender, how I love you only forever. That's only forever. Yeah, I thought you would know his work. Yeah. Wonderful artist. We have a museum here called the Gene Autry Museum of the West, and that's where I saw that exhibit. Oh, you like my whistling? Thank you. Well, on the album, that's a clarinet solo, and I do play the clarinet solo on the album, but can't quite figure out how to play clarinet and play guitar at the same time. And so I had to get creative. See, creative constraints. I have another trivia question for you. Let's do this. What female head of state was Time Magazine's pick for Person of the Year, dubbing her Chancellor of the Free World in 2015? Oh, you know the director of the Autry. Oh, very cool. Love that. It's a fabulous museum. That's actually one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing when things open up again in Los Angeles, is spending more time at the Autry. We're members, but usually Darby takes the kids, because he would go while I was working. By the way, you like my handmade handmade pottery? I stayed at this Airbnb once, and the woman was a potter, and she had these mugs in the Airbnb, and her place was called the Water Forest Retreat. It was a tree house in the woods. It was so delightful. Not Hillary Clinton. Not Hillary Clinton. Let me read the question again. What female head of state was Time Magazine's pick for Person of the Year, dubbing her Chancellor of the Free World in 2015? Haha. So this next song is, excuse me, wow. So it's that time of the month, about once a month, I decide that I play all the songs from 1,000 Tiny Torches, my most recent album, if you're just joining. And this particular month, I decided I wanted to play them in order of the album to see how that felt. Because usually when I do play the whole album, I don't do them in the order of the album. So this is Someone Else's Dream. I got mugged at a B&B. Haha, no. Yes, Angela Merkel. There you go. Good. Excuse me. I need to take another sip from my handmade pottery. Yes, Angela Merkel. Okay. You were the woman that you wanted to be. You'll be knee-deep in dirt, combing layers of earth. You'll be digging down through the centuries, making stories out of broken pottery. But you married. Oh, I got tripped up on that broken pottery because I've been talking about this pottery. Let's try that again. That was really funny. I had a flash of this mug that I'm drinking from. Gotta be careful about that. If you were the woman that you wanted to be, you'll be knee-deep in dirt, combing layers of earth. You'll be digging down the centuries, making stories out of broken pottery. But you settled down and married young. Now you're looking in the mirror at the woman you've become. What do you do with someone else's dream? someone's heart. And what can you say when you are caught between who you are and who you thought you would be? Back in someone else's dream. Someone else's dream. Back in someone else's dream. Someone else's dream. Oh, Mark, you're asking how the songs ended up in the order that they are in on the album, huh? Yeah, a lot of thought, a lot of thought went into that. Shane Alexander, who was a wonderful, wonderful singer-songwriter. You should find him and listen to him. You can find his music everywhere, and listen wherever you listen to my music, unless you're listening on CD, and he has CDs. Shane Alexander, he produced the album, and he and I worked very closely. I came to him with the written songs, but you know, when I brought them to him, they were just guitar and vocal. You know, pretty much how you're hearing them now. A couple of changes maybe here and there, but and then we started brainstorming. You know, what kind of drums, what kind of, you know, who do we want to play on the album? What kind of vibe are we looking for the song? All kinds of things. And as the songs were being recorded, we were starting to, you know, develop a sense of, you know, what order should these be in. We didn't know until we were in the recording studio recording the song What Really Matters. We had no idea that that was going to be the first single from the album, but we brought in Denny Weston Jr., an incredible drummer, and he, as soon as he started playing his part, and I started dancing around the studio while we were recording, and everybody there was like, oh, this is going to be a single. So that was What Really Matters. And we knew that we didn't want to start the album with What Really Matters. And also Headlights. We knew pretty soon that that probably was going to be the next single. Although those were also questions, we kind of, you know, nothing was set in stone. It was all really malleable for a long time. We were just playing around with some ideas. But I think by Shane's, I wanted to start the album actually with Someone Else's Dream for a long time. And Shane thought that You Were Light, which is the first song on the album, he felt like that was sort of the sonic center of the album. It wasn't on any extreme. You know, it wasn't as quiet as Only Forever. It wasn't, you know, or The Calling. It wasn't as, you know, driving as What Really Matters. And so it was sort of, you know, kind of looking at the songs and seeing, okay, you know, how do they flow from one to the other? So that might have been a longer answer than you were looking for, Mark, but it was a lot of consideration. It took a while. Yeah. And so this next song, Laugh About It, I was so thrilled so Carl Byron came into the studio to play all the keyboard instruments. He played Wurlitzer, he played the Hammond organ. Our studio had the big Hammond organ with the Leslie speaker right in the center the day that we recorded that. He played, you know, any kind of synth, and he played Mellotron. And this song, I feel like, you know, you really hear Carl's galloping piano at the end of Headlights. Really, really fun. But this song, Laugh About It, I feel like when I think of this song, I think about Carl. I feel like he gave so much to it. And I absolutely love the way that this song ended up. Friday night therapy has been just that. Oh, I'm so glad. We all need a little Friday night therapy, right? I guess it's Friday night therapy for me too. Feels really great to play for you. So this is Laugh About It, and it's really about money woes. It's about, things that couples argue about. And sometimes when you're in the heat of an argument, it's easy to forget. You're looking at the person across from you, and you think they're your enemy for a second, or at least maybe you forget that they're the person that you love. And so this song is sort of about remembering that. This old roof is full of leaks. It's dripping in the kitchen. It's been raining for a week. We're fighting over money again, yeah. Barely making do, holding on to dreams. Gotta choose between the house and a tank of gasoline. It ain't too funny now, no. But the day's gonna come, honey, when we're gonna laugh about the days we counted every penny. We're gonna laugh at all the ways our pockets came up empty. One thing I always think is I got you beat so back. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. Catching drops in a pail. The storm is never ending, and we're trying to fix a sail. Need something lucky now, yeah. Babe, don't turn to your side. Let's meet in the middle and swallow our pride. It ain't too funny now, no. But the day's gonna come, honey, when we're gonna laugh about the days we counted every penny. We're gonna laugh at all the ways our pockets came up empty. One thing I always think is I got you beans on bank. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. Forget about the check account. Take account of all the gifts we've got right here. I am swimming in your love. How I wouldn't trade it for $1 million. We're gonna laugh about the days we counted every penny. We're gonna laugh at all the ways our pockets came up empty. One thing I always think is I got you beans on bank. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. We're gonna laugh, 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 laugh about it. So that's Laugh About It. I feel like I haven't played that song in a while. And I was so chatty tonight. Just feels good to play. Today was usually I spend most of my Fridays playing music all day long. It's my one day of the week that I really just lock myself in the shed. And I have a couple of meetings usually on Friday, but I try to carefully guard this day so that I can just work on music. And today, today was not that kind of Friday. It was by necessity, a rare Friday when I had to spend it doing a lot of other things, and so it just feels good to sit and play with you for a while. But I have one song left. This is the last song of the album. This is The Calling, and I just realized for the first time tonight, I guess because the sun is now, fully set here by the time I start the show, and I was rehearsing for the show tonight just before we went live, and I was looking out of the shed. I'm facing a door with a glass window and some windows, and the door is reflecting the lights behind me. And as I was singing The Calling, I got to that line, 1,000 tiny torches, and I could see out the window these lights behind me, and I thought, oh, it's like fireflies out there. So, do the girls or Darby ever sit in? No. The kids don't. Neither of them are musicians. And neither of them are yoga practitioners either. But who knows? Maybe that'll come later. But Darby, he played bass on the album, and he's such a phenomenal bass player. He's also a really great keyboardist. That was his first instrument. But I brought Carl in to play keys because I wanted Darby just to play bass, and I wanted the whole band in the recording studio playing together. That was a really important thing for, it wasn't like, mailing tracks. I mean, that's sort of the way you have to do it right now during COVID, so I'm not knocking it, but we really wanted the drums and bass and keyboards to, gel together and really play off each other, and I think that's part of what makes the album sound so great. The drummer Denny and Darby are just locked in together, and the drums and bass, you can just hear it, and Carl is there kind of playing around the two things. So when I talk, it's echoey. Oh yeah, a little bit of reverb on. I should probably, maybe I should invest in a reverb pedal that I could turn on and off when I talk. Maybe that'll be the next investment. Maybe have had that on my mind for a while, so we'll see. So anyway, so that's the answer to your question about Darby. And actually, I played a live band show in February, just before COVID. I'm so glad I had that opportunity. It was the first time I'd played with a band in, a really long time, decade plus. And the band that played with me for that gig was actually the recording band. It was Denny on drums and Carl on keys and Shane on lead guitar. But instead of bass, instead of Darby playing bass, it was my friend Leela Simon, and Darby wanted to be in the audience. And so Leela sat in on bass for the show. And she was so fantastic that we decided we're going to have a band together. So after COVID, Leela, if you're watching, you're the bass player. It was her idea, so I'm sure she's okay with that. So this is The Calling. It's the last song for the night. Let me give you one last trivia question. What hip-hop infused musical about the first Secretary of the Treasury opened on July 15th to rave reviews? What hip-hop infused musical about the first Secretary of the Treasury opened on July 15th in 2015 to rave reviews? Freight trains in the distance, we hear that whistle blow. We see it slipping like a serpent. sunset glow, and further out the clouds are building up a storm. It's throwing bolts of lightning. They say it's gonna pour, and someone's calling someone. I can hear the neighbors ring. But no one's calling me. I turn up all the lamps, like a lighthouse at the bay. And tip an empty bottle to another lonely day. And off the porch in the clover, beyond the throw of light, the fireflies are blinking, the coming of the night, like 1,000 tiny torches on a broken down marquee. But no one's calling me. That train knows where it's going. If you make it back around, I'll be sitting in the porch light on the lonely side of town. Closer now, the clouds. It's really gonna pour. It's rumbling with thunder, like the coming of the Lord. And someone's calling someone. Can almost hear that choir sing. But no one's calling me. No one's calling me. Oh, and that, my friends, brings us to the end of another Arielle's Acoustic Happy Hour. Another Friday night. It has taken us into mid-November. We are starting to move into the holiday season. I have decided that on the week of Halloween I won't do this. I'll take my first break of all these weeks. So I hope I will see you before that. We will definitely be here next Friday. So I hope you will join me. And to answer your question for trivia, yes, Hamilton is correct. You are welcome. You are so welcome. Highlight of my week as well. Stay safe. Yes, thank you all for being here. Stay safe. That one of James Taylor's songs has been my mantra for a long time. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. And so be safe, be kind, shower the people that you love with love. And I will see you next time. Take good care.